Hey, what's up, folks? We are in 2024, and this is the year where you make or break your investing game. So, what is this all about? Everybody needs a brokerage account. Everybody needs to be trading or investing or doing something with all that extra money that you have, or if it's not a lot, how do we get there? How do we start growing that pile of cash in your savings account? Well, today I am going to show you exactly how to do that. So I am going to start here. I'm going to share my screen and show you how to open a brokerage account, set up your trading platform, create a new watch list, look at some charts, and just get started. We're going to call these stocks 101 about that. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to share my screen. This is what do I trade? Getting started with Think or Swim. Actually, the first thing before you even get to Think or Swim, you probably need a brokerage account. So I'm over here on schwab.com. That's spelled SCH. See that SCHWAB.com brokerage. And I'm on their website over here. Fancy website, nothing too, too crazy. It's just your standard fare. But the link that you need is to go over here to accounts and products. Okay, we're looking at accounts and products. Then the first one, it says brokerage and trading. That's under the accounts. Brokerage and trading. That's what I'm going to click on. And that brings me over here to this page. So let's take a look and see what is on this page here for opening a brokerage account. What do I need? And what does it give me? Well, it looks like I get $0. It's immediately telling about the price. So it's kind of a sales page, but let's see what we have. No account minimum. I like that. $0, 0 cents. Opening and maintenance dollars. Again, maintenance fees. Again, that's $0. And satisfaction guaranteed. So I kind of like where we're going with this. Do I need an individual account or a joint account? Well, it depends. If it's you and a partner, you and somebody else, then you need a joint account. If it's just for you, then you go ahead and smash that button for open individual account. But before we go there, let's see what we can do. We can buy and sell stocks, options, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and other financial products. You can research and plan. This is important, right? It's like building a house. You research, you plan, you go to your architect, you go to your engineer, go to a general contractor and you ask them all these questions. They give you all these plans, and then finally, finally, you start building something. That's the same thing with financial investing. You have to research, you have to plan. Don't just go blindly. Most of all, you have to get educated on these things. Yep. All right. Talk about that some more. Let's see. Again, it's talking about commissions, stocks. You can trade stocks for free. $0, 0 cents, no charge whatsoever. The only thing you get to pay is how much the stock is worth. A good example, if you want to buy Apple, it's trading at about $170 per share. They're not going to charge you anything to buy one share of Apple. It's just an example. But if you want to buy a contract, well, there's a small nominal fee. It looks like at the moment you will spend about 65 cents. Now, is that going to break your bank? No, 65 cents. Okay. You can do that on ETFs as well. Commission is the same on ETFs. All right. So I'm just going to smash that button for open individual account. And let's see what happens here. Let's see what they need from me. What can I do? They repeat it again, buy, sell stocks, mutual funds, yada, 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 all of that. How much does it cost? Nothing, right? No monthly fees, no account minimum. What do I need? I just need a social security number. So if you're in the US, everybody has one, or a tax ID if you're doing it for your business or under a business name. There's pros and cons about what you should use. Well, should you use your tax ID or should you use your social security number? For most people, your social security number is what you need. And if you're employed, then you're going to need your employer's name and mailing address. If this is applicable, notice that this is not required. So if you're a business person, you're self-employed, more than likely your small company is the one that is your employer. And then, of course, you're going to need an email address and mobile phone number. Right about now in 2024, show me one person who does not have any of these two things. Everybody around the world, almost 7 billion people have an email address. And I know that's a sweeping statement, but I want to say that 90% of the world have a phone number. Yeah. 90% of the world who's looking at opening a brokerage account has an email and have a phone number. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. If you have a referral code, well, go ahead and put it in. And I'm not sure what it's going to do for you. It might get you some free stock. It might get you something. Actually, a few months ago, yes, they did have some referral codes available for Schwab where you got $100 worth of stock. Yeah, that's right, $100 worth of stock. So if I find that coupon code, I will blast it over there on the comments right down below. By the way, this is a good time now to smash that subscribe button if you have not done that already. You need to subscribe. You need to get with the program, get notified every time I post something, every time I drop a new video. Just go ahead and subscribe that button so that you're notified. All right, let's see. So I'm going to assume that you're going to go through all of these. It's going to ask you a few basic questions. Pretty sure you have all of that information. And then you can download the Think or Swim platform. Well, right now, I've just downloaded it. This is how it looks like once you open it. Very, very complicated, in my opinion. Looks kind of blah. So many things everywhere. News on one side. Looks like it's got the Schwab network here. It's got paper money. It's got a bunch of things that I'm not really sure what I need here. So tell you what, we're going to configure this in about 20 seconds. Here's how we do it. First off, I want you to grab my special link for the workspace. Okay. I'm going to give you a template to get started. It is use this workspace template. So I already created this for you. I'm going to push copy on that, right? That's https://tos.mx/m8 Romeo Victor Lima India India. Okay, that's the link. So once you do that, go back over here to Thinkorswim. Move my picture out of the way. Actually, I'm going to reduce the size of these just so that you can see what I'm clicking on. So I'm going to push setup at the very top right. Hopefully you can see this. Setup at the very top right. I'm going to open a shared item. And this dialog over here comes up. You can see it moving around. And that link that I copied, I'm going to paste it in there. See that? I'm going to paste that link in there. I'm going to push preview, and it gives me that workspace that I created a couple of years ago, right? So I am going to import the item, give it a name, and let's call these, I'm just going to call it my workspace. I'm just going to call it my workspace. And I'm going to push import. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. And notice that item was imported successfully. So how do I use that? I'm going to go to setup again, and I'm going to click one time on the workspace that I just called my workspace. And Thinkorswim is going to open again. It's going to close and open. Looks like it closed and opened into a different screen. So I'm just going to push it back here. I want it front and center so we can work with it. So this is it. This is my workspace. Nothing fancy here, right? It's just a chart, no watch lists, nothing at all. So that's the next thing we're going to do. We're going to create a watch list. So notice that I can always choose, some of the public watch lists that are available, but I need some under my personal. I don't have any personal watch list. So here's what I'm going to do. I only need one of these. So I'm going to delete this gadget. Then on the one watch list space that I have, I'm going to create watch list. going to give it a name, and I'm going to create a winning strategy. How about that? Winning strategy. That's my watch list. Now, going to save that, but before well, yeah, let's go ahead and save that. Right. So right now I do have my first personal watch list. It's called winning strategy, but it is empty. There's nothing to it. There's nothing to it. So how do I find something to put in there? Well, let's head on over here to we've done that. We've created a brokerage account. We want a watch list. So let's talk about that. A watch list is a list of stocks, ETF, indexes, assets that you want to watch. And the purpose for watching them is so that you can, at some point, place a trade on them, open a position, right? An example is Microsoft. I want to be able to watch and see how is Microsoft performing in terms of price over the last several weeks, days, years. I want to track its record so that I have an idea, is it a good item to trade in? So we do have a criteria, and the criteria is right here in front of us. The companies that we pick, or the market cap, or the ETFs, or the instrument that we're going to use, we needed to have a market cap of at least 10 billion. That's with a B. And why do I choose that instead of using a company that is worth, say, a million, 2 million? It's because I want a stable stock. To begin with, as a beginning trader, you want something that is stable, right? That's right. You want something that is stable so that you can so you're comfortable. You don't lose all your money up front in a couple of weeks. So go for something stable. So we're going to see how we are going to use a tool to help us do this. The average trading volume, that's the second bullet here. We want an average of 1 million daily. What does that mean? That simply means that if I buy the stock today, I want to be able to sell it within minutes or a few days. If I have trouble selling that, then that's a problem. That is why we want something that is heavily traded, more than a million. Is that a big number? No, that's not a big number. We've got indexes and instruments that are traded billions of times. So 1 million is not a small, it's not a big number. Yeah. So 1 million is the minimum. Okay. Average true range. What does this mean? This some people actually uh, abbreviate that as ATR. So you might hear somebody say, what's the ATR on that ticker? All they are asking is, what is the average true range? What is the range of movement for the price of that ticker, right? So let's say that we choose Microsoft and it is trading at, I'm not sure how much Microsoft is trading right now, but let's just give it a number. Let's say $450. I think that's about where, but we'll see. Uh, how often does it move by $5? Does it go to 445? Does it go to 450? How long does that take? That's the average. So when we talk about average true range, it's a metric that actually measures the range of movement for that particular stock over the last rolling 14 days. The average is 14 days. You might sometimes see the ATR over 9 days or 20 days or 50 days or even 200 days. In those scenarios, then we start looking at the simple moving average or the exponential moving average. That's a topic for another day. For now, we are interested in what is the simple moving average over the last 14 days. That's equal to the ATR. Okay. And we want something greater than 5. Now, why would we want something greater than 5 as opposed to $1? It's because you make money only when the stock is moving up and down. Simple as that. IPO date. This is an initial public offer. That simply means that we don't really want new companies. Yeah, new companies don't have a track record of trading, and so we want to avoid those until they're mature enough. They've been trading for a while. That doesn't mean that the company was, even if it IPO'd today, it doesn't mean that the company has not been around for a while. Yeah, so it just means that it has not been publicly traded before that. A good example is Reddit. RDDT. They just IPO'd the other day. Do they have a track record? No, they do not. So you want to avoid those newly traded companies, even though they've been around for a while. Stay with those that have been around. Then, as you grow in maturity in your trading, then you can have an IPO strategy if you want to pursue that. For the purpose of this criteria, we're going to stick with companies that do business primarily in the USA, or they have been set up in the USA. So that's not an issue. There's thousands of companies that you can do that you can find. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Okay. So what's the tool that we are going to use to do this? So I'm going to type over here, finviz.com. That's the one that we're going to use today. So finviz.com, I'm going to go here to finviz.com. Notice I just opened my browser here. It was already open in the background. And this is the tool that we're going to use. So let's see what criteria we can, how we can configure our screeners using the criteria that we just identified. I'm going to split my screen over here. And that way I have two things open at the same time. So how about that? How big can I make these? Can I make these? Okay, well, looks like I can do that. Okay, so here's my watchlist criteria. I'm going to configure FinViz over here on the left side. Let's give ourselves some breathing space here. Maximize that. Yeah, how about that? Looking good so far? I think so. I could probably just maximize this, but yeah, I'm lazy. I've got plenty of time on this. All right. There is a link or a tab on this website. Notice that it says screener. It's a third one from the left. It says screener. And that's the one that we are interested in working with. So I'm simply going to push one time on that. And then I'm just going to just going to configure my criteria here until I come up with a watch list. What am my goal is to come up with about 15 to 20 tickers. You can do these as many times as you want. You can do it every week. You can do it monthly. You can do it every 6 months. It's up to you. Okay. I try to come back here every few months or any time that I need to reorganize my watch list or get a new one. So you don't have to do this every day. Notice that just clicking on screener gives me about 9,498 choices. That's a lot of choices. It's a lot of choices. It means that there's going to be stocks in here, instruments of all types, all shapes, all forms. And we only need about 10 to 20, 15 to 20 maybe. So how do we do this? Right. First things first, I want to choose something descriptive. And I want to we said market cap is one of the things. So market cap greater than 10 billion. So we are going to find market cap. And we said that we want large. So this is needs to be over 10 billion, right? So large, we're going to go with, looks like we have plus large over 10 billion. All right, that's good. Okay. 817, we just filtered out of all the available stocks, 9,000 plus, we just filtered down to 817. That's a good start. Okay. Average trading volume, about 1 million. So average volume, so right now it says any, and we had decided that we're going to choose over 1 million. How about that? Just going to choose that. Oh, upgrade my FinViz experience. All right, maybe we'll look at that a little later on. I have now reduced my choices down to 599. We're getting there. Okay, average true range greater than 5. So that's probably going to be a technical, it's probably going to be something technical. Let's look at it here. Or maybe it might be fundamental. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? We're going to look for it here under descriptive, maybe. Rate volume. You know what? Let's go ahead and push all just so that we can, or maybe not. Average true range. Here it is. It's under technical. So under technical, average true range says any, and we want greater than 5 or over 5. There we go. Right there in the middle. Our choices are now 76. Look at that, 76. One more thing, or a couple more things. We do need to change the country. We do need to change the country to just USA. So I think that's under descriptive. And I see country over here. And by the way, when you're doing these by yourself, you can always click those tabs over there just in case you don't immediately see it. Just tab through them and that will help you out. All right, so let's click on USA. We're now down to 65. How about that? One more thing. The last thing here is the IPO date greater than 1 year. We don't want any new companies. So let's click on IPO date and we're going to say greater than 1 year. So that would be more than a year ago, more than a year. So we are only interested in companies that have that IPO'd greater than 1 year, more than 12 months ago. So now we have 62 to choose from. Notice that the results are laid out in a very, very simple way that gives you the information right up front. We've got the ticker symbol, we've got the name of the company, the sector, the industry, the country, the market cap, the price equity, the P ratio, the price, the change. This represents how much change in the last trading session, and this represents the volume. Because we have already filtered, we don't need to look at this particular section. What we want to pay attention to here is maybe the sector and the industry. So here's the deal. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So you want to choose companies that are in different sectors and maybe even different industries, right? The reason for that is that the companies and stocks don't all perform the same way. Even when we hear the market is really, really good this month, does it mean all companies, all sectors are good? No, there's some that are lagging, some that are suffering, some that are excelling, so on and so forth. So you want to mix, you want to be diversified in this watch list. So start with names that you know. You can go with Adobe, you can go with AMD, you can go with a few of those. So I've already done this exercise here in advance. And so I've decided that I already have my watch list. So I've decided that I'm going to pick some of these. Something about my watch list that is special. I've got 3 things in there, 4 things actually. Make that 5. 5 tickers that are actually, oh, I've got this one repeated twice. Okay, let's change that. So I've got the SPX, which is the S&P 500 index. This is an index. When you hear people talking about the market, they're usually talking about one of the major averages. One of the major averages is the S&P 500 index, which is a composition of 500 companies in the US. Then we hear about the NASDAQ or the NASDAQ composite, and that has the ticker symbol COMP. And then we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is DJI. Notice there's a dollar sign in front of these, but there's no dollar sign in front of SPX. Depending on the platform that you're using, it could be $SPX.W or something to that effect. For Thinkorswim, I believe it is just SPX. Then there's one more here that is special, and that's called the VIX. VIX is an index, and it measures the sentiment of traders. How are people feeling? Excuse me, how are people feeling about the market? And you'll come to learn about this a little later on in the course. So just put it in there. And then some popular IP ETFs like SPY, QQQ, and then some stocks over here. Remember, this is just an example. You can create your own. Okay, you've got thousands to choose from. So how do we use these? Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to my Thinkorswim. Remember, we created a watch list and we called it winning strategy. So I'm going to edit winning strategy. Okay, I'm going to edit that. Go ahead and organize these so that I can see both at the same time. Just going to simply drag these. I'm going to reduce that size. Now I'm going to go to my winning strategy here, edit winning strategy, and I'm going to add symbols. So here's what I'm doing. Simple clicking on the blank space underneath the title symbol, and I'm just going to type these up. So SPX, so dollar COMP, for Nasdaq Composite, DJI, and you get the idea. You notice now that my winning strategy watch list has got all the ticker symbols that we added or that we chose from the Finviz website. So let me explain some of these. Again, the SPX is the S&P 500. Notice that every time I click on one of these columns, the chart over here changes. The reason that does that is because I've linked my watch list. Notice here it says number 3, I've chosen a color blue, and I want to link it to the chat system number 3 blue as well. So that's just so that I can make it easier for myself. Anytime that I click on something in the watch list, then my chart also changes to that. So let's go over it. S&P, COMP is the Nasdaq Composite. So the reason I have these 3 or 4 here is because those are some of the things that we look at every day in the market. When you hear the S&P is up, or the Dow is up, or the Nasdaq is up, these are the numbers that they're looking at, the net change, right? So in the last business day on Friday, S&P was up 57, Nasdaq was up just under 200 points, the Dow Jones was up 307, and then there's the VIX. We talked about that fear index or that volatility index. I've added a few interesting ticker symbols. SPY, which is an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. Then I've got the Magnificent Seven. They call it the Magnificent Seven. This is a list of stocks that actually kind of moves the market, and they're mostly tech. I'm not so sure that they're Magnificent Seven anymore. Now we're talking about the Magnificent Six because we want to kick Tesla out. But at any rate, we've got Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google, Nvidia, and Tesla. Okay, then I chose some more tech or entertainment or creatives like Adobe and QQQ, which is an ETF that is very, very heavy on technical stocks or technology stocks, internet and stuff like that. Then there's the Dick's Sporting Good. Yeah, everybody knows about entertainment store where you could buy sporting attire, equipment, that kind of stuff. Goldman Sachs, well representing us in the financial industry here. Then Eli Lilly, that's a health stock, and Netflix is entertainment, and AMD is a semiconductor. So now you know how to add a watch list or how to build one. Remember, you don't need a whole lot of stocks inside of your stock list, a watch list, just a big, 15 to 20. You don't have to trade all of them, but be sure to have a few that you're constantly monitoring for the pulse of the market.